This was really a wonderful session. Actually, we associated with Sunil ji for the purpose that this may become a bridge for industry, for professionals, and for this Novo company, that it may immensely benefit to our members having a exposure of industry, what industry actually perceives. This was basically for brand building and advertisement, and so this how the industry perceives relating to advertisement and brand building, image building, and this exposure will take a long way to our professional members of Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives. And I think it will be we will be having a long-term relationship with the Novo, who will be curating the other programs in the future also.
But since there is no one-size-fits-all strategy.
Ritvika, I have very different subject, but very important subject. Can I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we have a hardcore B2B product, okay? And it is not distributed. It is sold in 90 countries. Very niche, very technical, very special users. We had a heritage brand which was supposed to be a family name.
So Mike, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike,
So we had the family name as a heritage brand which is built over the years. It was well recognized globally, and we used to compete with the Europeans and the best in the class. We ring-fenced the IPR as much as we could, but some areas were not ring-fenced. And our family name is Bajaj, by the way, so we were competing with the big Bajaj. So in some particular areas of IPR, we ring-fenced but some areas. So we had an IPR clash a couple of years ago. So that day we decided that we are going to come up with a new brand. It was a challenge because it's a B2B and there are no distributors. Now, one of the revelations which we had in a B2B brand was, number one, a B2B buyer is a rational creature. This was the first lesson which we got the input. B2B buyer buys on price, on the attributes, on the distribution. He's a rational creature. He's not, he buys on emotions, or he buys on sentiments, or he buys on perception, as the case is. Number one. Number two, the team relationship in case of B2B is much more important than the brand. If you know the person very well, if you have a great relation with the buyer, you can sell it. You don't need a brand. This was busted. This was absolutely busted. So, coming to the conclusion, the brand is as important as in a B2B. Create the pull factor. Now, for us, the additional challenge was how to deliver a brand which is recognized by small people. Let's say there are 10 people in one country who are users of those brands. How to make the message reach there? How to design a strategy which is multilingual, which is focused on everybody in every country. It was a journey which we started 2 years back, and we have come a long way. That's all.
I want to add one thing, coming from the stock market. I keep meeting many promoters in Eastern region, especially SME promoters and some big companies as well. So when I ask them, why are you contemplating listing on a stock exchange? Of course, there are many advantages of listing. One of them, which they highlight, is that I want to get listed because I want to create a brand. Listing is a one-shot pan-India kind of a exercise. I want to create a brand. I want to attract greater talents to come to my company, which I am not getting now because I am not listed. So I want companies, employees from better companies come here. I see Infosys, etc., creating so many millionaires. I want my employees also to get into that range. So this thoughts of creating a brand or advertising, etc., is something which is now slowly picking up.
Absolutely. There are many ways, there are many channels actually.
Right.
Take the one question.
I think we'll sign it up because it's already getting late. So we'll take it offline now after this thing. So Ritika, as we can continue.
Actually, we can carry it forward over tea and other thing. But I think if you allow me, I'll just ask one last question, one important aspect of brand which we didn't touch. Many companies often offer, brand ambassadors. The risk of brand ambassador is when maybe a film star or a cricketer, when they perform not so well or perform dismally, so then what happens to that brand exercise, brand building? He says, maybe Choiti, you'd like to take this too.
Yes, actually, nowadays it has become very dicey. Previously, there was not much of that craze of having brand ambassadors, but yes, nowadays it is, and not only performance, it's also a bit of political, alignment, where situation gets, business effects. Which is actually, I would say it is more than performance part. When it is there's a political angle associated with a particular celebrity, and if then the brand gets so. There was a craze, but last 2 to 2.5 years, the brands are going out of it, because the kind of expenditure that they make by taking the brand ambassadors, and there are so many, the conditions that, the ambassadors they put, and to maintain that. So it actually doesn't,
Amitabh Bachchan is safe.
I think the brands have understood that it is not making much of a difference. Once the product, price and everything is okay, they are able to do without them also. So things are changing now.
One interesting thing which we missed asking is that, how do you handle trolling? There's so much trolling.
We'll do that. It's getting late. They have to. We'll take it on. So Ritika, we are thinking.
Oh, thank you everybody. I think the bottom line is we need branding. Without branding, we cannot move ahead. But all we need to do is to structure the brand building planning. It has to be well structured. And that, as I mentioned earlier, there is no one-size-fits-all strategy. Different companies will have different brand building strategies, but at the end of the day, we have to, a brand or a product will have to create its own identity. That's the bottom line. Thank you very much.